Alright, hello and welcome back. It's been a few days since I last played this. Although, you know, of course, the videos are coming out on a regular cadence, but let's see, I gotta remember what I was doing. Oh yes, so I was gonna go do this right here, and then I still need to figure out what to do about this 6 Chizo here. And then maybe explore something like this spot right here, or possibly over here, to see if I can figure out how I'm supposed to get to that Crucible Spike, and then we'll proceed from that point. But first things first, let's head on in here. I just noticed there's also a... Oh, I'll let him speak. Okay. And if I could, I'll see if I can... I would see if I could abandon the ally, but I didn't see a very readily accessible option to do this. Also, I had seen the Digital Foundry video for settings on this game, and if I'm being completely honest, it didn't seem like a very useful analysis of the settings for the game. Unfortunately, they did have some recommendations, such as setting global illumination to ultra despite the performance cost, just because the game has issues on lower global illumination, which is true. I have noticed this. Although I don't know about ultra, right? Like, I have mine set to, I think it's in the one in the middle, and it seems fine. Uh-oh. I'm playing super bad, but now I can go here, and then charge this up, bonk him, riposte him, or crit, what do they call that, crit? Yeah. Bonk him again, and he's dead, just like that. Nifty. You're the one. Oh, good heavens. I got finessed by aim assist a little bit there. The dark side of aim assist. You can tell I'm a Call of Duty player, because if aim assist doesn't aim at the enemies for me, I won't hit anything. Yeah, speaking of, man, those new Resident Evil games, like Village onwards, or not Village, the one before Village 7, I guess it's called. It is so hard to hit stuff in those games, on controller at least. Just because the enemies, like, by design, right, like, I'm sure this is on purpose, but the enemies are, like, very swayy, and they'll juke you and dodge your bullets. And the aim assist does not compensate, except in 4. In 4 it does, but you have to, like, you have to customize the settings quite a bit to get it to work in a way that feels normal. But yeah. So it's just funny. And, like, I'm not trying to make excuses for myself, because I feel like maybe this is cope, but I feel like that experience on controller is specifically what they were trying to make happen, right? Like, it's like modern day equivalent of tank controls making games harder because you don't have full control of your character like you would in an action game. In this one, it's just very hard to hit enemies by design, so that actually hitting enemies with your bullets and not missing and wasting them is part of the challenge. But yeah, so maybe it's cope, but yeah, I do know, just every time I miss shots, I'm like, man, if I was on keyboard and mouse, I wouldn't be missing these shots. And I know that's not true, because I miss shots on keyboard and mouse plenty. But it at least makes me feel better. Come here, you. What am I doing in Samurai when I could just do this? Yeah, silly me. Oh, no you don't. Okay, I got my goodies. Whatever that was. Okay. And what's going on in here? I'm missing quite a few enemies, so there must be a lot going on down this central pathway. Oh yes, there's like a whole second story. Let's see what we got going on upstairs. Nothing there. Well, hold on. There could be something there, actually. There's not. What about over here? Ah, gimme. Armor looks better on me, by the way. Just saying. Oh, no going out the window here. Perhaps let's check over here. Nothing over here. Oh yeah, so back to the Digital Foundry video. They mentioned wanting to have global illumination on Ultra. And to an extent, that matches with my observations. Oh no, that's not a good whiff. Where, like, if you have it all the way down or even on the second to lowest, the game just does not look good in certain places. Like, to the extent where it significantly hampers, oh dear, visibility. And then expanding on that, you know, they lean into dynamic resolution being very valuable for maintaining good frame rates and stable frame rates while utilizing those features. And I kind of was turned off by dynamic resolution. I tried pretty hard to get my settings to a decently stable frame rate without using it. So maybe I will experiment with utilizing it again, you know, on the 50 minimum, 65 maximum. One thing that was interesting, though, they recommended having sharpness on 0, whereas I have mine on 1.0, because, in my opinion, the game looks... Like, okay, so they say when it's on 1.0 sharpness, it looks very... I don't remember what the term they used was, but the lines looked very jagged. But, like, sure, fair enough, but on 0.0, it looks very fuzzy and blurry. I don't know if I would consider that to be better than what it looks like on 1.0, you know? But yeah, I'm gonna... Am I supposed to be able to do something with this, by the way? What is this? It's a Crucible Wraith? Maybe I need to get the rest of the enemies first, and then he'll show up. What did I miss? No enemies there. Okay, so was there something over here past the Megagaki? Up there. Yeah, that's got to be it. 3 enemies up there. Makes sense. And then let's see. Terrain was found to not meaningfully impact frame rates on any setting, so may as well have it maxed out. Fair enough. I think I just had that set down to standard or something. So I could see about setting that up a little bit higher. Maybe benefit from slightly better terrain. And then there was one other thing. Oh, hello, it's these guys. They've returned. Oh, he still got me. He's a wide AoE on that. I thought I'd have time to throw a shuriken and dodge out. I barely didn't. Like, it must have been like a frame or two that I was short. It was very close. Okay, defeat the source of the yokai realm, so that's got to be whatever business is going on downstairs, and then I can come back up here and get the chest. Make sure I don't forget to do that. There was probably a more efficient way for me to traverse this distance here. Yeah, I could have just dropped down that way. Oops. Alright, then let's just juice up real quick. Toss a Mezuki while we're at it. He died instantly. Rest in peace, guy. Okay. And does this guy want anything? Haunting caves. Oh, that's the place I did already. Would that we could duel one day, he says. Isn't this that guy from Nioh 1? Gives you all the electricity stuff? I'm pretty sure that's him. Warrior of the East. That was, I think it was just a side quest, but that was definitely a, like, welcome to the real world kind of moment in the first game for sure, because he was a very dangerous foe, right? And just in keeping with the philosophy of Nioh 1 in general, where it's, you know, if you stumble, you die. If you run out of ki, you're dead. He had a lot of, you know, he used the sword, and he had a lot of EI jutsu stuff that would just hit you for 1 billion damage. So, mistakes were not tolerated in that side quest. I'm trying to figure out, there is a door I can open. Very nice, very nice. A lot of goodies. Yeah, I have a lot of ninja locks, and I'm not really sure what I even want to spend them on. And that is one thing I've noticed about this game. I'm getting so many levels and so many skill points that I'm kind of just waiting to parse them in batches, right? So that might just be something I do after I end this stream or before I start the next one. Just go through and briefly figure out what I want to do with everything. I don't want to just enter the menu every time I get points unless I have something specific in mind. So yeah, they drown you in these points in this game, which is unusual, right? You didn't really have to make that many decisions in the older games. You get like 1 or 2 skill points a level at the start of the game at least. You know, 1 onmyo, 1 ninjutsu, 1 or 2, maybe 3 for your weapon, maybe a couple of levels from Amrita. So yeah, in this game it's like play for 20 minutes, you got 5 different levels. And I'm not complaining, by the way, just to be clear. I don't think this is a bad thing. It's just a difference that I'm observing and I think is funny. And the crazy thing about it is, like, these skill points are just as meaningful as the ones in the older games. They're just more plentiful as well on top. So that's like super neat. I just don't like being, you know, I'm just not the kind of player. What do you mean it doesn't open from this side? Where's it open from? Either there's a hole on the roof, or maybe this does something actually. I need a fire arrow actually. It did not appear like that did anything. What are those there for? Were there enemies up there? I don't recall there being enemies specifically right there unless I kited them or pulled... Oh wait, hold on. I got lost. So this is where the Gigagaki was, and there's a Gaki there. I don't remember if there was something right there though. This is interesting. So, I don't know if... Ah, there is a hole in the roof. I don't know if there's much overlap in those watching my videos. Between those interested in the Nioh 3 content and the other content I've messed with, like Sentinels. But I was planning on holding off on further Sentinels of the Multiverse content until the digital version of Definitive Edition comes out. They're just calling it Sentinels 2. However, Desperation, the newest Sentinels expansion, got added to Tabletop Simulator, and I tried it out, and it is incredible. Like, you know, I tried not to keep too tight a pulse on it because I knew I wasn't going to be able to buy it for a little while. So I kind of just kept it at arm's distance, just knowing that it would be good when eventually I got around to it. But since I saw that it was available on tabletop, I was like, oh heck, I better try this out. And man, it exceeds my expectations big time. One thing I will say, of the new heroes, Visionary is definitely my favorite. But I'm also a big fan of, oh dear, Chrono Ranger, and also the door. Where y'all got your door at? Do you not have one? Oh, it's barricaded, I see. So I noticed that a lot of the heroes that you can play in this expansion, they're like a lot more, they feel more like a card game, if that makes sense. Like you're really plotting lines of play for your own character development. You're really making meaningful decisions most turns about what card to play, what power to use. And this is something that Sentinels, you know, has had already, but like it really feels like they're leaning into it in this one. So with Visionary, her shtick is that she has 2 decks. She has her main deck, which is the same as anybody else's 40 cards. She also has her side deck called the Dark something, Dark Side deck maybe? I'm not sure. And you don't know what's coming, but each of the cards in the deck have bittersweet effects, right? it'll be stuff like do an AoE that hits all enemies and also all allies. So that's bittersweet, right? Because it's good that you're dealing damage to enemies, but you're also hurting your allies, which could put you in a tight spot. Another one it has is... what was my plan from here? Actually, since I'm already headed this way, let's go get this Kodama. Another one it has would be something... Actually, I'm struggling to remember them. I only played it the once. But it's just stuff like that. There was one, I believe, where it had allies discarding cards and then you draw 3 cards. Something like that. And so, on top of that, you also can't choose when you're playing... Well, you can't choose to use the dark side deck any old time. Generally what will happen is you'll have like kicker effects. You know, you'll use a card or a power and it'll say, do good thing. You can also do this other good thing, but if you do, you gotta play a card from the dark side deck. So, the way I read this as a player who is very keen on taking risks that can put you ahead, I just read that as do good thing, do second good thing, and then do dark side deck, which will do a third good thing, but also probably one bad thing as well. And like I think doing 3 good things at the cost of 1 bad thing is a worthwhile trade in most circumstances in Sentinels of the Multiverse. So she's just a whole lot of fun. And over time, there's going to be the ability to make more educated decisions based off of what you know is still left in the dark side deck. I'm calling it that. I'm not sure if that's what it's actually called. And, you know, that kind of decision making is just fun. Knowing what % chance you are to blow yourself out, you're like, okay, so one of these 10 cards could be harmful to our position, but the rest would not matter. And just making an educated decision as to whether or not it's worth that risk or not. Just fun. Cool stuff. Aha. I can't believe I missed this. Thank you, sir. Right. Alright, so from here, I was thinking about figuring out, doing a quick sweep here. Maybe I'll go here to this little, whatever that is, and then... that's not the button. How do I put... there we go. So just go here, kind of loop around this way, all the way around, and then I'll end up at this Jizo statue eventually. I think that's my plan for now. What am I doing? It seems like my plan is to just run off into the water. Alright, so Chrono Ranger, his shtick is, you know, he still does the whole thing where he puts bounties next to people. That will provide not exactly a debuff to them, but kinda. But this time, they mitigate the cost of cards to do so by stapling the text on all of them that says, if it's no longer next to an enemy, you bury the bounty and you draw a card. So you get your card back for the bounty eventually. So, you know, you're net 0 on card advantage. And then also you bury the bounty, so you could, in theory, have access to it again in your deck. That one specifically, I don't remember if that's a meaningful advantage or not. In terms of like if he has salvages that you're missing out on by burying. Oh, there's enemies here. Hello. Yeah, no problem. What is this? It's that one. Cool. Did not stand a chance. How about you? Bonk. 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 Get you real quick. Get you with one of these. Get you with one of those. He's down. Who else? I heard someone shooting. I don't see him though. Where are you? Well, and I appear to have gone completely the wrong way. Oops. And then I can't quite remember what else Chrono Ranger had going on, except he had one cool finisher. It was you discard cards from your hand and deal 1 damage for each, up to 6 or something like that. And I thought that was kind of cool. Especially considering, right, he has bounties that will make you do damage. Like, there's one that says just Chrono Ranger specifically will do +2 projectile damage. So that, you know, that means you're going from discarding 1 to 6 cards for 1 to 6 damage to discarding 1 to 6 cards for 3 to 6, 18 damage, which is pretty cool. Goodbye. He has one where it was like, if the enemy is at 9 HP or below, you do plus... It might have been 2 damage again. Yeah, I think it was. And that one's crazy. I whiffed. You know, I don't need to charge these up like to the max every single time. I can let those go early so I don't whiff. I need to just do that. No reason not to do that. Did I drop down here? I can't recall. Is there anything else to do here before I check to see if I have dropped down there? I could whiff the rock. Just a shiny, okay. Wait, is that the Crucible Spike just right there? What was I doing the last time I played this game, man? Just missing stuff in plain sight. Good grief. Good grief, what was I doing? Okay, so that's that. This is looking good. What tab do I want to be on? This one. There's one valuable, which I believe is that shiny right... Wait, that's not even the same area. So that's not sensible. There's one valuable, and there's one Spirit Vein and one Master. That's the Spirit Vein, that's the Master. Probably for the best to just wait to do that in case the valuable is there, and if it's not, then I could do a sweep of the area. Over here, same deal. One valuable, one Spirit Vein, one Crucible Wraith. Okay, we'll come back later. Down here, we have one Spirit Vein, we have one valuable. There's also a Kodama and a Jizo. Alright, and so I do see a lot of business appears in Battle Scroll. Did I miss a Crucible Wraith in that mission? How did I do that? Yikes. Okay. Headaches? What is that? I think what I'd like to do, just so I don't get too lost actually, is proceed up north to here, and work on those areas. And then hopefully in the course of this exploration I will end up finding the... Oh yeah, 24, 20. Okay, so we want to go to the place that's level 20 and then 24 and then 28 and then this is 36 up here. Okay, so yeah, hopefully in the course of this exploration I will be finding the Guardian Spirit stuff that I need for the Spirit Veins there. Cool, and then from here I can just go ahead across that bridge. Very good. Hi there. Uh-oh. I thought he was done. Oh my goodness. I didn't even know they had that move. Okay, well that was scuffed, but that's okay. Oh, my frames. Mikadagahara. What in the world? Oh. Oh! I'm getting grabbed by everything today. Wait, did that do anything? Okay. Nice area. I'm liking this. I'm seeing a bunch of little aerial friends here. I see a shiny up here. I got it. I heard something. Somebody's up to mischief. What does that sound? That's the Kappa sound. I see him. Oh, he's done. I love that so much. Like just the little spiffy animation you get for assassinations. I think it is quite cool. Nothing over there, I don't think. Let's go back upstairs. Okay. Let's go over here, using our Gale Sprint responsibly, as always. Oh dear. Okay, so that sound effect is the Jizo statues. That's good to know. I think I may have passively noticed that before, but not like actively realized or made the connection that like if I hear that, look for the Jizo. Now I can drop down. I think I saw like a proper shiny somewhere. Maybe not. But there is one over here. I thought. Perhaps not. I hear a Scampus making Scampus noises. Okay, there's just nothing down here. What about here? Aha. Hello. Gotcha. Oh, no you don't. Where are you going? What in the world? My ankles. Wait, what? Did he go up there? This thing's got moves. What in the world? You cunning rascal. I knew it. I knew there had to be a fight in here. I'm not using this axe responsibly. That key pulse move is really good though. I gotta use that more. Or with intention more, I should say. Thank you for the Samurai Locks. Thank you for the Furball. I see the Chichiko up there. What the? What did it do that for? Huh? Did he just do the extendo arm? Hold on, do that again. Oh man, I killed him. I think he just did the extendo arm on me. That was kind of cool. Which skeleton's got a glow up. That was not intentional. But since I did it... Bonk. Okay, that's the big boss. Before we mess around with him. Get our shinies, kill the other enemies. Nice try. He's dead. They breathe fire? What in the world? Since when do they do that? I mean, yeah, it's probably just what they do in the Dark Realm. It's cool seeing enemies just pop out this random stuff I didn't know they were capable of. Even if it is enemies I've seen. You thought you could hit me when I was out of key? No, 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 no. No, sir. I hear it, the Chichiko. And I know it's around here somewhere, but I do not see the Chichiko. Now that the lights are on, I can go see if I can find any other goodies that were laying about. Those are some pretty strong looking hatchets. Might look into speccing into those for the old ninja style. Huh, did I miss the means by which one gets up to the top there? Oh, here it is. I found it. Well, potentially, actually. I'm not sure if this is it or not. Okay, Mario. Good grief. Oh well. Gentlemen. What is my charge? It ain't that. Is it blocking and... Maybe it was hold dash while blocking. Maybe that was it. Something goofy. Nope. Well, I would have put it in low stance, surely, if I have it. Yeah, that's... What am I doing? It's not that. Huh. What is the run? Victory Rush. That's the key pulse one. What is it called if it's not Spirit Wind? What are you? That's the guard point, right? I may just not even have it at all. Possibly. That would explain why I couldn't find out how to do it. Dung ball. Very good. Alright. And I'm hearing a sound effect here. And I think that might be the Jizo statue sound effect, but I'm not positive. Okay, so there's stuff over there, and there's also stuff up here. Pop that shrine real quick. Surge. What? Those Kodama are having a party. Alright, so that's looking like I pushed that down to make a shortcut. Oh, it's a spirit vein, that's the sound effect. Okay, so I don't know if I can interact with that stuff at the moment. Over here, saw a Yogi. Okay, I wonder what these things are called. Sweet. I need to use this low stance more with the axe. It seems like it's pretty solid. Getting quick hits in on staggerable enemies in particular. Meanwhile, with something like a Yogi, just do that. And who cares if I got hit? I take 0 damage. Figuratively speaking. That's a figurative 0, not a literal 0. If I wanted to take literal 0 damage, I would just play Dragon's Dogma instead. Yeah, speaking of, when are we gonna get? I mean, I think that that series is donezo. I believe I heard something to the effect of, I'm drawing a blank on his name because I'm wanting to say Itagaki, and I know for a fact that's not correct. But anyway, I believe I heard something to the effect of Dragon's Dogma 2 was the realization of the vision the director had for the series. And so I'm glad that he realized his vision. I would appreciate some changes with Dragon's Dogma 2. And beyond just changes, I would just like more stuff, right? Like, I'd like proper New Game Plus cycles and post-game. I'd like more areas to explore. And that's kind of it, really. Like, you know, the story, it is what it is. It did what it did. Okay, so I run off and then I see the Kodama. Good job. But, you know, the combat was a lot of fun. The exploration was a lot of fun. More so than I can think of. And just about any other open world game that I've played besides this one, honestly. And this one's just different. Like, it felt more organic in Dragon's Dogma. Like, I know literally every AAA open world game goes on about how, you know, you could find anything, go anywhere, see stuff in the environment, mess with it. You know, you see that mountain over there, you can climb that. It's like, okay, whatever. But, like, if those places don't matter, like, that claim doesn't really hold a lot of weight. But, like, in Dragon's Dogma, I really do feel like it does a good job exemplifying those values, right? Like, you see a place you want to get to that's, like, higher or lower than your position, and you can, like, really find some creative ways to overcome that obstacle. Or there's just going to be random stuff and nooks and crannies, and their solution to kind of ensuring players don't miss everything is that pawns, which is another key mechanic in Dragon's Dogma. It's like AI companions that have, like, traits, behavioral traits, and you can you have your own that will always be with you, and then you can rent out up to 2 others from other players. And so they'll, like, if you rent somebody's pawn and that person has gotten something in the world with that pawn, they'll know it. They'll be like, oh yeah, my master found a cool chest here. Well, they won't be that specific, but they'll be like, oh yeah, I remember there being something here. And so, you know, you look a little more cautiously in whatever area you're in. And I just think that's really neat. Like, you just feel like you're rewarded from going from point A to point B. And then, you know, there's a meaningful day-night cycle that actually affects, like, the game meaningfully. Yikes. And so that plays into the exploration as well, because if you explore more or less efficiently, you'll arrive at places at different times, and you will experience different things, fight different enemies. It's just cool. A lot of cool stuff in that game. I think the combat has promise, with issues. And, you know, those issues are kind of big, and if I'm being honest, they're pretty crippling issues. But it's kind of a situation where it's like the game's cool enough to where it's like, okay, well, I can live with this. One of the biggest things is the balance is kind of, well, it's just not great, right? Like, you have more than one class that is literal, not figuratively, but literally invincible. Oh dear. Are you gonna shoot it? Good grief. That being the thief, you get whatever they call it, formless feint, I think, and you just are literally invincible. It continuously drains your stamina, but not nearly enough for that to be a meaningful cost. And then you also have the Mystic Spear Hand, which has like a shield it can put on itself, and you're invincible while the shield lasts, and you can refresh it. So it requires upkeep, unlike Formless Feint. Oh dear. But yeah, just literally invincible. And so on top of that, they also do good DPS. And then it's like, how is anything supposed to like compare to a weapon that's capable of that kind of stuff, right? And then the other problem is just like, this is a bigger problem, right? Because honestly, Dragon's Dogma is not the kind of game where you're expecting razor tight, gameplay balance. You can have broken stuff, whatever. I think the more pressing concern, and what I would really like to see, if nothing else, is there is no meaningful way for the game to put up a fight against a player that's powerful. Um, right, you have like your items are extremely powerful. They'll bail you out of any situation. You have these stones that'll resurrect you, so you have like variance mitigation if you get a bad pattern that you can't deal with, or if you just make a mistake. And you can even use them as you're dying too, which is funny. I got distracted looking at what I just got. But yeah, pretty much all it is if you get really strong full build, which, in my opinion, that's one of the funnest parts of an RPG, is trying to get the best gear and the best skill set and level everything up. Like, the natural culmination of a role-playing game, in my opinion, is becoming the idealized version of whatever role you're playing. So, best stats, best gear, best, highest power. You had just become the ultimate version of the Arisen. And so, I would just like to see if, like, New Game Plus would actually be a real New Game Plus, because it just puts you in the exact same game from the beginning, right? The enemies are not any stronger. There's no new challenges for you. So you're just playing the same game, but just way, way, way easier. Whoops. And Team Ninja games have definitely spoiled me with that, because that's what they do. They always give you the New Game Plus that's got new enemies, harder enemies, better gear. So the enemies get stronger, but then you get stronger, and then the next New Game Plus, and then you get stronger, and the enemies get stronger. And it's just always having something that is strong enough to provide you with a meaningful challenge. And like, I'm not saying it has to be like giga hard. It just, you just don't want to face roll the game, right? Like, you don't want to turn on Formless Feint and then just put your controller down, go make breakfast, and then come back and you're still fine, and then pick up the fight. Like, that's a little much, But yeah, all this to say, Dragon's Dogma 2 is a lot of fun. And if I'm being honest with myself, I don't think it's going to see any more content, any more updates. But I would really like it too. Every time there's like a Capcom broadcast, or a broadcast that Capcom would be at, like an Xbox one or a State of Play or a whatever the Nintendo ones are called, I always watch them, and I always hope in the back of my mind, hey, what if Dragon's Dogma 2 gets some information? That would be cool, I think. And what's really funny is I did not enjoy Dragon's Dogma 1 very much. Or much at all, really, until I got to the post-game, if I'm being completely honest. I kind of softened my heart a little bit when I got to the Dark Arisen stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm seeing the vision here. And I think a lot of that is just because the game's got a lot of... Wait, what is this? What the heck? Thought it was a Gaki for a second until I saw its ears doing crazy stuff. Bye-bye. But yeah, Dragon's Dogma 1 is just very clunky, very low quality of life. You gotta commit to stuff. Like, your character creation makes a massive difference to how the whole game plays out in terms of, like, your character attributes, which is like, okay, sure. I think specifically it will affect how much stamina you have, how much weight you can carry, and then how fast your stamina regenerates. And so, like, sure, that'll affect your whole game at character creation, and I'm not the biggest fan of that, but... Wait, have I been... I've been here. Yeah. I thought this looked familiar. Somehow, I'm so bad at staying on track. Good grief, I've gone all the way into a completely different area here. I'm just gonna... But yeah, I'm noticing got something in the Eternal Rift, so I'm going to go peek that, and then I'm going to call it for today's episode. Now, speaking of states of play, though, this most recent one from Sony looked pretty cool. There's a lot of neat stuff in there. Oh my goodness, that's a big Scampus. Hello. Give him a furball? Of course I'm going to give him a furball. You kidding me? He's pleased. Oh. Sorry, I don't... Oh, I do have more. He's pleased. He winked at me. What a fun little guy. Okay. What is the exclamation point exactly? It's a fierce flame. Oh, right. I needed to give you that Magatama that I found. That is not where the blacksmith is. Alright, I got something for you.
ありがとう。まあいいや。新しい家事の技を私はきっといつかこれからはもっと
Soul Match and Soul Extraction. What was Extraction? Soul Match was like making one weapon equal to the level of another. What was Extraction? Disassemble equipment for Soul Match. Wait, materials for Soul Matching?
今日はどうする?
Level and plus value are different. What in the world? Yellow soul ores. Okay, so on top of costing a gore $1 billion, it also costed its own resource. That's interesting. Very interesting.
じゃあまたね.
Alright. Sweet. Oh. Maybe talk to her one more time, see if she has like another quest. Doesn't look like it.
じゃあまたね.
Alright, sweet. Let's go save at that shrine, and thank you for watching. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next episode.